Alright, so Brazil right now looks really finished, and this isn't a secret to anyone, everybody knows it already. But I think it's important for me to come here and explain you guys why is this happening and how can they turn it around. Alright, the situation is pretty bad. They sitting sixth in the table behind teams like Venezuela and Uruguay, which are strong teams, I guess, like Uruguay. But Venezuela, in my opinion, there is no excuse. So basically, the situation over there is pretty serious, and it's not just related to football, it's also really related to politics. Alright, I'm gonna start by introducing the main villain of the story, which is Ednaldo Rodriguez. He is the president or ex-president of the Brazilian national team. It's actually pretty complicated to explain his current situation, as not even he knows what is going on exactly. Basically, he was the president of the Brazilian national team, but what happened is he got removed by the justice. So a judge decided to remove him. It wasn't for nothing. He was suspect of corruption and also made a lot of bad decisions during his time as president. And the main one is the Ancelotti one, which is going to be the main focus on this video. Okay, everybody knows that he loves Ancelotti, and he basically tricked the entire Brazilian population with Ancelotti. It is actually not easy to explain, but what happened is that he publicly stated that Brazil was going to sign Ancelotti permanently as a manager, as Brazil's new manager, because Tite, which is the Brazil's old manager, he left in the end of the World Cup, and he announced months before the World Cup that he was going to leave. But Ednaldo Rodriguez, poor management, didn't realize that he needed to try to search a immediate replacement, and he took weeks, months, and months, and finally he decided to go for Ancelotti. And this decision was actually terrible. As I said before, he publicly stated that Brazil was going to be coached by Ancelotti when his contract finishes at Real Madrid. He made it clear as day to the Brazilian population that Ancelotti was going to be Brazil's new coach. But the thing is, he lied. So he had a meeting with Ancelotti and his staff, and this is actually true. They had this meeting, but Ancelotti didn't sign any contracts, and of course he didn't sign any contracts because he has a current contract with Real Madrid that expires next summer. So what happened on this meeting? Probably, we don't know for sure, is that Ednaldo misinterpreted Ancelotti's thoughts. He thought that Ancelotti was going to be joining them, and he made it clear to everyone that he was going to be coaching Brazil next year, but he lied. We don't know yet if he got the wrong message or if he lied on purpose, but something happened there. And of course, he was 100% wrong, as this week Ancelotti and Real Madrid announced his renewal with the Madrid club. Thus, he's not going to be able to coach Brazil, at least not until 2026. So now, due to poor management and a extremely dumb and weak president, Brazil is left with no actual coach. They signed Fernando Diniz to coach Brazil during this transitional period from the end of the World Cup until Ancelotti was going to sign. But now there is no Ancelotti, so Brazil has absolutely no one to fight for them. And of course, it will get worse because by the court acting, the judge acting and removing Ednaldo Rodriguez from the presidency of the Brazilian national team, FIFA announced that they are going to be coming here to Brazil to have a meeting with the Brazilian national team, because what happened there is that Brazil broke a law that FIFA have, a policy that the justice and a judge cannot act, interfere, or remove a president from any national team. So basically, it's the FIFA against Brazil. So now CBF, which is the Brazilian national team, need to make a choice between having a fight with FIFA and putting Ednaldo Rodriguez back as president. The bad part is picking a fight with FIFA isn't smart, as they broke a very direct rule and Brazil could be removed from the next World Cup. CBF, the Brazilian national team, has classified to every single World Cup throughout its history. Brazil played in every single World Cup and they can be removed from the next one in 2026 in the US, Mexico, and Canada. And this is an extremely bad situation. Imagine watching a World Cup without Brazil. Even if they classify, they're not going to be able to join if FIFA decides to punish them. We don't know it yet. FIFA is going to come to Brazil in the next few weeks, and they are going to have the meeting and decide if they are going to kick out Brazil from the next World Cup. About Brazil current manager status, they have Fernando Diniz contract expiring at the middle of 2024, because of course they signed him to be a transition from the World Cup to Ancelotti, and now they need to find a new guy. And who should Brazil sign? The truth is that there aren't a lot of talented Brazilian managers out there, so they would need to sign someone from another country, just like Ancelotti. But that is something very polemical, because a lot of Brazilian fans don't like it. They want a Brazilian manager. But it's extremely complicated, as there aren't a lot of good managers in the market. So, possible managers for Brazil are Abel Ferreira, which is a Portuguese manager that coaches Palmeiras, which is one of the biggest clubs in Brazil. Jose Mourinho has also been linked with Brazil, and those are the two main guys. But at this point, I don't know why would they coach Brazil. If I were them, I would never accept this job, because the justice and the president made it clear to everyone that the Brazilian football at this point is just a joke, and that everyone can walk around and kick and hurt and ruin Brazil. Incredible how they went from the best team in the world to a bad, unstable, and weak national team, one of the worst in South America. Thank you for your attention. See you next time.